Hey guys, so today we're going to be building out the Vapi voice agent that I've shown in previous videos on Retell. For those of you who don't know, Retell AI is probably the second most prominent voice agent builder CRM out there. The reason why we're using it today is because after a decent amount of time spent on Vapi, I've realized that it's not the most reliable for my use cases, which is scheduling, rescheduling a receptionist basically. What I've seen is that it performs not the best when placed in situations of like calling the calendar tool, giving the correct date, giving the correct time slots open. And I think this is due to the fact that Vapi is a single prompt system prompt, and we're kind of heavily reliant on the LLM to perform correctly 10 out of 10 times. And what I've noticed is it probably performs well 8, maybe even 9 out of 10 times, but even that 1 out of 10 times could cause problems for our clients. So I kind of wanted to create a more rigid, deterministic flow, and Retell AI is known for that because you build out each of the nodes separately, and you can kind of see where if something goes wrong, you could see which node it's going wrong compared to a single prompt where it's really difficult to know where things are going wrong. So you end up just adding more to the system prompt, which increases latency, increases costs. I do want to mention that Vapi does have something similar called workflows, but it's still in beta version. So maybe once this gets released, I could see myself going back to it and giving it a shot. For now, let's test out Retell, and I'll show you guys what I've built so far. I do want to clarify that I've only built the scheduling flow as of now that books an appointment on Calendly, which flows over to Google Calendar. I haven't integrated rescheduling, cancellations, or FAQs yet. The issue with rescheduling and cancellations is that there's nothing native on Retell AI to be able to connect to Google Calendar or Calendly and cancel the appointment or reschedule it. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to build out an automation flow on make.com or NAN and use a webhook to connect to the voice agent, so that way it has the ability to run through a flow on Make or NAN that can cancel or offer rescheduling times, which is for a different video, as I've already been rambling along long enough. Okay, so let's test the agent so you guys kind of see how the call goes.
Thank you for calling Best Acupuncture. This is Sarah. How can I help you today?
Hi, Sarah. Can I schedule an appointment?
Sure. Just to confirm, is this your first visit with us, or are you coming in for a follow-up?
Yeah, this is my first visit.
Great, thanks. Can I get your full name? And is the number you're calling from the best one to reach you?
Yeah, my full name is John Doe, and this is the best number.
All right, let me check our earliest available appointment for you. Just a moment, please. Thanks for waiting, John. So, our earliest available appointment is Tuesday, January 20th at 2 p.m. If you'd prefer something a bit later that same day, we also have a 3 p.m. slot open. Which of those would you like to book?
Yeah, let's do 2 p.m.
Just to confirm, you'd like Tuesday, January 20th at 2 p.m. Is that correct?
Yep, sounds good.
All right, before I book that, what's the best email address to send your confirmation to? Could you please spell everything before the at for me?
It's JOHNDOE@gmail.com.
Thanks for spelling that out. Just to confirm, I have johndoe@gmail.com. Is that correct?
Correct.
Well, John, you're all scheduled for Tuesday, January 20th at 2 p.m. There's a parking lot behind the building. Try parking there first, and if it's full, street parking is available. So, John, unless you have any questions, we look forward to seeing you on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Have a great day.
Cool, thanks, bye. Okay, so that will go over to Calendly, and in the booking section, you'll be able to see right here, 2 p.m. new patient consultation between AIW and John Doe. That flows over to Google Calendar, and it'll show up like this on the client side as well as the customer side. In this case, by client, I'm referring to a clinic. Okay, so let's go back to Retell, and I'll walk you through the steps. There is a lot that I learned along the way, so I have notes that I will be checking up on here and there. First things first, the global settings. So consider this like giving the voice agent context for the entire call throughout the call. It just lets the voice agent know that it's a receptionist, that it shouldn't do certain things like guessing dates, times, and pricing, and it should do certain things like going to the knowledge base to answer FAQs. A couple other things to touch note on. Inbound caller numbers. So with Vapi and Retell, I kind of realized this a little late, but when a call comes in, it's able to store that phone number. So that way you don't have to go out to the client and ask them, hey, can you repeat the phone number? What phone number would you like to use? So this is just a small rule to make sure that the phone number is taken in. As you can see in Google Calendar, it says 1 plus user number. So if I was calling from a phone number, then it would actually keep the phone number. But in this case, I just called directly through the dashboard. Another thing that I have is visit type. So if it knows that the visit type is a first appointment or a follow-up, you guys probably saw how it determined that intent and it skipped over to collect name and phone number instead of going through the first step of the scheduling flow, which is asking, hey, is this a first time appointment or a new appointment? So these are just little things that when you add, it decreases the time of the call as well as makes it less annoying for the person on the other side who has to repeat confirmations left and right. Okay, so the first node that we're going to start off with is just welcome node. Thank you for calling Best Acupuncture. This is Sarah. How can I help you? Another part that I added to this is if the client wants to speak with a Spanish speaking agent, then it would transfer the call to a Spanish speaking agent. You can just add that by saying call transfer and then building out another Retell AI agent with Spanish and adding a Spanish-speaking 11 Labs voice. The reason why I'm not doing multilingual is because when you do that, you're going to increase the latency as well as the cost. And 80% of the calls are coming in English, so it's really not worth toggling it to bilingual. Once the voice agent determines that it's not a Spanish-speaking agent, it continues in English and it tries to figure out what the caller is calling about. The 4 options that I have, or I should say 5 options that I have listed here, is scheduling an appointment, trying to reschedule an appointment, cancel an appointment, and answer questions about pricing, hours, insurance. The reason why I have otherwise listed is in case the voice agent doesn't really understand what's going on, I just have a quick little fail-safe where it would ask, hey, just to confirm, are you calling to schedule an appointment, ask a question or something else. So hopefully the voice agent's able to understand after asking this re-clarification question to the client. After the intent's decided, so we go down the scheduling flow and the voice agent will ask, hey, first time appointment or returning follow-up appointment. In this case, new patient. And I do want to mention this. So global node is when you add a conversation node and you're building it out, you'll have different node settings. One of them that's really useful is global node. So, and the client's already ahead of the game and already answering the questions that we've laid out and we're expecting the voice agent to ask. This global node section will just allow the voice agent to skip to the relevant section. So as you guys saw before, I mentioned that this is a first appointment. So instead of going through the step 1, it just skips over to the section and asks for the full name and confirm if the number is correct. Another thing that's really useful is by using fine-tuning examples. I haven't really touched base on it yet, but I'm guessing you could just put edge case scenarios in there. So moving on, the check availability calendar tool. So while it's checking, I just wanted to create a human-like response. So just like a receptionist would say, all right, let me check the earliest available appointments for you. So what we're doing and how to build this function, right? If we go over here, this is the same thing you'll see when you click function over here, and you'll be prompted to add a check calendar availability or book on calendar or a custom function. It's convenient that these 2 are already built in. I wish they already had a cancel or reschedule function built in as well. But going off the check availability calendar tool, right? The first thing, name, description, I just have when users ask for availability, check the calendar and provide available slots. API key, never show anyone this. Event type ID, you're going to pull that. So when you go over to bookings, you can create a new booking right here. Right? And that will get you to somewhere like this, new patient consultation. I'm just going to show you what I have set up. So if I click new patient consultation, you can see the event ID right here. So it's in between the links. That 4391662 is what you want to paste in the event type ID. Important thing to note is you will probably have the default time zone set to Chicago. You want to change that to whatever is your time zone, New York in this case for me. And that's also important to change over on Calendly's side, which you can change it right here, edit availability. For anyone who doesn't know, in order to get the API key, you go over to settings, you go over to API keys right here, and you add a new API key. So name it whatever you want, Retell API key, make sure you store it somewhere because it won't let you see it. And you should be good to go on that side. So I just want to walk you through how to add Google Calendar. You just want to go over to apps, App Store, hit details, install, go through the steps, and then go back to your event types. Once you create it, click edit, go over to advanced section, and this is where you're going to attach your Google Calendar and whichever calendar that you want the events to flow over to. So in my case, acupuncture. Yeah, that's all it is. So not bad. So after the check availability function, it heads over to offer 2 options. So I listed it out. So it offers the earliest available appointment and then a later in the day appointment. So 2 p.m., 3 p.m., etc. After that's done, you confirm the appointment, making sure that the client knows which day and which time. If the client says no, it just goes back to check availability tool so we can get a better fitting date and time for the client. So for collecting email, you want to be very thorough and make sure that the client's spelling out the email, because if the email confirmation isn't sent to the correct email, then they might forget about the appointment and it's going to create headaches later down the road. So that's why I have it set to say, ask the caller to spell everything out before the @ and in this case, most of the email domains that we deal with are Gmail. So I just prompted it to assume that it's Gmail if it doesn't specify a different domain. Afterwards, it goes on to book calendar or book an appointment in calendar. Same exact function that we built out, just with a different event ID that you can pull from the URL. Last but not least, confirmation and instruction. So just confirming, hey, this is the time, everything good, and just adding little tidbits like, hey, there's a parking lot behind the building, try parking there. And just little, like whatever extra that you want to add. And then it flows on to ending call. So those are the nodes that I have set. Obviously you can customize this. Okay, so I think that goes over everything. We covered how to check availability, how to book an appointment, how to connect Google Calendar, how to skip between nodes, as well as transfer a call to a Spanish-speaking agent. In the next video, we'll cover how to build a automation flow on NAN or Make.com to reschedule appointments and cancel appointments. And I'll also quickly add on how to connect a knowledge base and just walk you guys through that part as well. Yeah, hope this helps. See you guys next time.